Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown of a leaping Hollywood home on a budget. Today we're getting in touch with our inner artiste as we discover or rediscover the art, and in this case, the joy of thrifting. In gathering up the batch of items for today's set of videos, I thought to myself, gee, even though I'm not a Bob Ross historian, there was no way a week of videos like this was going to be made official without consulting from beyond the beyond. The expertise of one of PBS's all-time pioneers and one of the all-time great painters. This is uncharted territory for me. Not only am I debuting Bob Ross on TSR today, but I'm also doing it thrice. 3 pieces of merchandise attached to Bob Ross. We begin with Happy Little Accidents, the party game. Yes, believe it or not, Bob Ross has his own party game. There are actually a couple on the market, and I did spy both of them at the thrift shop. But I settled on this, purchased for $4.99, invented by Forrest Puzan Creative, and distributed by Big G Creative. Which only makes sense because Bob Ross was, and thanks to the internet, still is, a big time G. This is for 3 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, and will take you about 15 minutes, and contains 54 challenge cards, 30 voting tokens, 7 markers, 1 already used pad of drawing paper, and a sand timer, complete with instructions. And speaking of instructions, let's throw it over to TTPM for more on Happy Little Accidents.
Each player gets 3 sheets of blank drawing paper and then draws random doodles onto their papers. When all players are done, the doodles get placed face down in the center of the playing space. Make sure to mix them up. To begin a round, each player takes 1 drawing paper from the center. One player acts as host and draws a card, which has 18 words on it divided into 3 rounds.
3.
Another player will randomly select a number, and the host finds the corresponding word on the card and reads it out loud. Everyone then has 30 seconds to transform the doodle on their paper into the word. Describe what you drew and then play the second and third rounds.
I drew a campfire, which is hot.
After the third round, each player submits their favorite of the 3 drawings they did for voting. Then players use their voting tokens to vote for their favorite drawings. The voting tokens, which are shaped like Bob Ross, have different amounts of squirrels on the backside. You would award 3 squirrels to your favorite drawing, 2 squirrels to your second favorite, and 1 squirrel to your third, fourth, and fifth favorite, depending on how many players there are. Players then tally up their squirrel points, and the player with the most squirrels wins.
So I have it on good authority in saying that you're going to have some happy little accidents that you'll be proud to own up to. So let's get started. We have here the instruction pamphlet, which is meant to be a staple, but is otherwise fairly solidly put together. I would give you 10 seconds at this point to read the instructions, but this is a multi-page pamphlet, and you already saw the gameplay video, so there you go. However, this has a little more info on one of Bob's tiny little besties, Peapod, a tiny squirrel that liked to sit in his pocket. This cute little devil was raised by Bob and then lived in his backyard. Peapod would scratch on the back door every morning, and Bob would let out the pocket squirrel for breakfast. His bond with Peapod was so strong that a cartoon version of the little rascal was incorporated into the show. Let's take a look at the components in the box. So we have here the scoring tokens. A few of them got out of the Ziploc bag. Of course, how many squirrels are on the back of these scoring tokens indicates how many points that the contestants would receive for their inspired squiggles. 2 squirrels is 2 points. 1 squirrel is 1 point. 3 squirrels is 3 points. 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, etc. Again, this is an already used pad of drawing paper. You see here at the top, some sheets have already been taken out. But there's still plenty enough material in here. Plenty of blank canvases for which you could use to draw to your heart's content. Of course, within reason, which is why I want to bring up the challenge cards now. Let's take out, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 at random. I said 3, not 4. Anyway, round 1. Basement, snow, sparkle, musical, athlete, sidewalk. 2, treasure, jogging shoes, eggs, flag, loud. 3, salt, secret crayons, house, sisters, wild. Round 3, I'll give you a little cheater's code. Secret, why don't you do a squirrely version of Aria from Pretty Little Liars going, shh. I know I would. I hold PLO in the highest regard. Anyway, under the challenge card here, with some challenges, all numbered, divided into 3 rounds. Round 3, movie, you could do that. Round 1, pizza, of course. Round 2, crow. Like a scarecrow. Or like Brandon Lee's crow. Wait a minute, that would be bad comma. Anyway. Finally, round 1, ghost. Like that ghost movie, Whoopi Goldberg, Patrick Swayze. Yeah. Round 2, bear. Like that movie, Bear. Why am I tying these on to movies all of a sudden? You know the bear, that movie with, I don't know, Alan McPherson and Bart the Bear? Round 3, tickets. Easy. Go to ticket, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or if you really want to go retro, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And so needless to say, there's a heck of a lot of variety going on into these challenges, all divided into 3 rounds. You can pretty much just write any random assortment of inspired squiggles to make up these challenges and represent them good on. Round 2, video. Why don't you just draw a YouTube icon? Now it has to be some random squiggles and they have to be inspired, but you can nail the YouTube icon, right? And of course, these are my favorite timers ever. Sand timers. So chic, so retro, so effective, so darn cool to look at. Come on now. And of course, you'll need some markers. And because we have markers in lieu of paintbrushes and watercolors and paints, there's no mess. So sadly, while there's no wet-on-wet action, mastered by Bob Ross by way of his mentor, and a PBS pioneer before him, Bill Alexander, at least you don't have to worry about a big mess to clean up afterwards. Anyway, let's take a look at the back here. Turn your mistakes into masterpieces. Celebrate your creativity in this positive party game inspired by the wisdom of legendary painter Bob Ross. You will surprise yourself by transforming abstract shapes and squiggles into charming pieces of art. Then share your clever doodles and award points to other players for their inspired creations. After all, there's no such thing as mistakes, just happy little accidents. So, to summarize, each player creates whimsical squiggles based upon the numbered challenge that they select, transform other players' squiggles into mini masterpieces based on shared inspirations, and then vote for your favorites. Earn the most votes to win. You can create a pizza, as I just mentioned, or the work of a Picasso in the making. By the way, as I turn this cover here back to its original correct shape, I want to share with you some quotes on the sides of the box here, all 4 sides. This is not something you should labor over or worry about. Enjoy it. Anything that you try and you don't succeed, if you learn from it, it's not a failure. Speaking of which, there are no failures to be represented here at all. So basically, it's one of those rare party games that everybody can be a winner at. You have unlimited power here. You can do that. You can do anything on this canvas, with the exception of literally making love to it, as he had his son Steve would often innuendo from time to time. But besides that, you can do anything on this canvas, anything. And by the way, Bob Ross's creations were almost always inspired by the beauty of Mother Nature. Landscapes and mountains and park terrains, sometimes cabins, but no human specimens would be present in his paintings. You can move mountains, rivers, trees. You can determine what your world is like, just through the power of painting. When did this first come out? Without working the box, I want to know when did this first come out. It came out, 2018. Because a couple of years later, the coronavirus would hit, and a lot of people would find themselves painting a heck of a lot more. Whether they were Picassos or Celsos. And speaking of which, whether you're one or the other, there's no special skill or experience required for this full-on 5 out of 5 party game. Because all you need to bring to the table here is a can-do spirit. Perm optional. By and large, this sure does beat the devil out of doing something you have no idea otherwise how the hell to do. So with that, happy thrifting, and good luck, my friend. Thanks for watching TSR. Now, to see another awesome review like this one, click here. If you want to become a Hollywood bargain hunter, click here to subscribe. And I'll catch you on the thrift side.